good morning, and thank you very much for joining us. I am Yori Folaring. Today, sad news, in Lagos politician, Senator actually, Lagos politician, Senator Bayo Osinowo, representing Lagos State East, passed on suddenly. Apparently, he had been nursing an illness. It hasn't exactly been told what exactly was the nature of his death, but he passed after an illness. And it is thought that it might be related to COVID-19 because when the Lagos State governor was actually condoling with the family on the matter, he had said that, they would be taking the efforts, they would be taking this as some sort of a clarion call to redouble, very much as he would have wanted, their efforts in battling against COVID-19. And so our condolences go to the family of Senator Bayo Osinowo. By all accounts, a ranking member of the Lagos State House of Assembly, had served 4 consecutive terms, and had only just been elected to the Senate last year. There have been, condolences from the presidency, condolences from the National Assembly as well. And indeed, we shall be speaking with, as many of his colleagues as we can get hold of. In fact, I think we have Honorable Segun Olulade. Honorable Olulade is a former member of the House of Assembly. Good morning, Honorable Olulade.
Good morning, Uncle Yori.
Good morning, sir. Thank you very much. The shocking news, that we heard yesterday, as I said, the way I put it was that I haven't yet seen a source that has categorically said it was related to COVID-19, but that is the general thought, that he passed on as a result of COVID-19. Is that correct?
Well, it's only the doctor that could confirm that.
Or his family?
I know he was sick. I was sick briefly, and the doctor can only confirm the exact cause of the death.
Indeed, you're correct. I had speculated that since the Lagos State governor, in his own condolence, had taken the opportunity to also affirm that he and his team would not, as it were, be discouraged, and they would do everything possible to even add more to the already monumental fight that is going on in Lagos against this pandemic disease. That kind of oblique kind of reference is where my speculation comes from. There have been condolences, up and down the land. In Lagos here, the APC leader, Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu, actually put out a statement saying how shocked he was, and how such a valuable, shall we say, soldier he has been of democracy and the whole battle. You worked with him when you were in the House of Assembly in Lagos State. Is that right?
Yeah, we served together for 8 good years that we left in 2019 together. Unfortunately, we cannot say of the same thing today, because I recall that last year when he was contesting for the Senate, I was also the director of youth mobilization for his campaign team in Lagos East. It's unfortunate, the shocking, sad news. When you talk about Senator Bayo Osinowo, it was so many things to so many people. It was a unifier, it was a stabilizer to us at the State House of Assembly. His native intelligence is legendary, and is someone that we all rally around. He was the one that we go for whenever there is an issue within the House. And when we say he was the stabilizer of that House, we know what we were talking about. And today, and he's someone that one can be classified as an unrepentant loyalist of Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu. He was also one of the people that have paid, some level of pride for our democracy today. He was jailed during the days of the June 12th struggle, and he was almost being killed. And he was someone who is very, very religious. He was unapologetic Tinubu's person. If you want to get the wrath of Senator Bayo Osinowo, you can just fight or do anything against Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu. That's the kind of person that Senator Bayo Osinowo was. He was a philanthropist.
He was also spoken of. Sorry, he was also spoken of as a hard worker. I think Bola Ahmed Tinubu had also spoken about the level of his industry, and that was re-echoed when the presidency's statement came out, that he was a hard worker within the party, trusted loyalist, as you have said. But that part about his labor, his untiring and unceasing labor, could we talk about that? Because you've also alluded to it in talking about him being some sort of a rallying force. Just talk about that area.
Talking about his faithfulness to the party.
Yes.
Is something that cannot be debated. He's so committed to the party. He was the rallying point for everybody. It was a unifier, no matter who you are, no matter your level. And I like the way Senator Ashafa put it. He was speaking the language of the people. He understands the language of the people.
Well, it's interesting you bring up Senator Ashafa, because Senator Ashafa was the senator in Lagos East Senatorial District before him.
So he was so committed to people development, to his constituents, to our senatorial district, Lagos East Senatorial District. You will see the passion in which he will always defend the people from Lagos East Senatorial District, and is a leader of leaders. He has raised so many people, and he is someone that never disparaged people, no matter the situation. Once you have Senator Bayo Osinowo behind you, also known as Pepperito, once you have him behind you, you can go to sleep. You will see him, no matter who the person is. He's not someone that is always with having a class issue. Irrespective of your status, he will come down to your level, he will discuss with you, he will advise you. He is someone that will quote the Bible and quote the Quran. He was someone that can talk to you, and even when you have issues, and he talks to you, you will be rest assured that yes, you have got succor from this person.
Okay, let me. We also have another colleague of his, who, from the way you're speaking about him, is like the APC family feels bereaved. The entirety of the APC family in Lagos State, if not even beyond, feels bereaved. And we have Honorable Tunde Braimo, who is in the Lagos State House of Assembly. He's of the Koshofe constituency 2. Good morning, Honorable Braimo.
Good morning.
And condolences, on the passing of your colleague. You also worked with him, just like your colleague, a former member of the House, Elenia, who is also on the phone. We've been hearing of the man. What would you say was the content of his politics? Because we've been hearing that he's a unifier. Somehow he got on well with everybody. Somehow Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu has put out the statement that man, beyond being a politician and a legation, was virtually a member of his family. Such was the level of closeness. So would you talk about the content of his politics? Did he have a particular, stream that people identified him with?
Thank you very much. To say Senator Bayo Osinowo was my colleague would be very uncharitable, and it'd be a very big discredit to him. Senator Bayo Osinowo was my senior brother, my senior colleague, my leader, my brother, my mentor. You see, he came across as someone that was a problem solver. He was a solution thinker to any problem.
Okay.
When there are problems, he sees opportunity in every challenge. And he's very bad now, very sad, very untoward to be referring to him in the past is something that is very devastating and that I have to get accustomed to. So when I use the present tense for him, please just pardon my English because I'm not attuned to it yet. He was a clairvoyant and a very quintessential politician, a realist, somebody who is pragmatic and practically oriented. He wants to get a goal. He sets out for the goal. He is not a prototype or a precept type of politician. He was someone who said, look, we have to situate this matter into the circumstances that we have locally. What we have at hand, what is it? What are we going to do about it? That is the way he operated. Not some dogmas, not some not adaptable modules that will not work in a particular circumstance. Very, very dynamic. That's how we call him. Very highly dynamic and result-oriented.
He was if I understood it well, he was into lands, building, and that kind of a thing professionally as a professional. He also
Yes.
He also had that sort of area of specialization within the house in Lagos.
Yes. Yes.
So there's in fact in that regard, you could say there was something of a professional connection between him and his predecessor in that senatorial district, Senator Ashafa.
Yes.
Ashafa, as you know, used to be jocularly referred to as Ashafa lands in his time.
Yes.
So that was an onerous, well, it was a big responsibility. Lands being what it is in Lagos, and he was head of he headed up the Committee on Lands in Lagos State. Any notable moments that you can think of? Because at the end of his political, service, apart from his political service, there's also that matter which was his professional within the house.
Yes, land to Lagos is what oil is to the Niger Delta of Nigeria. So land is the gold of Lagos, and for someone to have been in charge of that veritable asset for 16 years,
exactly
shows. And you see, we have a lot to thank him for. We have a lot to thank Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu for. Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu, unarguably, is the founder of modern Lagos. He came. He saw Lagos the way it was, very unacceptable. It is in his own iconoclastic approach. He changed things totally around, and he moved the LGR from a paltry 600 million, maybe then to 6 billion, from 6 billion, and the rest is history. We know where we are today now. And it was that radical approach that Asiwaju used, but Asiwaju had in his kitty such people, such determined people, such unrepentant nationalists, such altruistic personalities like Senator Bayo Osinowo, who assisted him in realizing his mission for a greater Lagos. Senator Bayo Osinowo was in charge of lands, and he saw it. He always said it. Now, when I said Lagos, land is to Lagos what oil is to Niger Delta, I'm quoting directly from one of his famous statements. He told us that, and we resonated with that because that is quite apt and true. So he did that, and he understood what land meant to Lagos. And this is a man that maybe I can count the number of plots of land that he had in Lagos, in spite of being in charge of lands for 60 years. Several times, privately, he would lament to me, he would confess to me, but he didn't mind. He was happy that he was doing what he was doing for the sake of Lagos. He was not egocentric, he was not self-centered, it was not about himself. It was about the community. And maybe that has to do with his background, because he went to Italy to study.
Indeed.
Apart from adapting himself to the Italian culture by studying Italian language for the first 1 year, he went ahead to study a bachelor's degree in the building and the technology and all of that. And he now went to get his specialization in things like tiling and marble. That was why he got his specialization. So he has always been someone who had been oriented in that regard. And he has a passion for the job, and he did the job positively.
Okay.
He suffered a lot. It's such unfortunate that he spent only 1 year in Senate, just exactly a year. When he clocked a year in Senate, death called him up to God. Senator Bayo Osinowo was somebody who put all his all into democratic struggle of Nigeria in the post Abiola Nadako June 12th debate that we
Indeed.
had.
Honorable, thank you very much, and please stay with us because I'm going to come back to you. We started off with Honorable Sanwo-olu on the phone, but Honorable Lulade is also now on Skype. Oh, I see. I hear that you're not on Skype, that it is the phone you are still on. So thank you very much for staying with us, sir. Would you like to speak a bit about, because you were speaking about his politics starting from the very beginning when he youth leadership, I think I've read, or did you mention it just now, that there are also associations going back to, you know, MKO Abiola's quest back in the day, Hope 93. Would you, and I don't know if you were involved at that time, would you like to recount those days?
Yes, I would like to talk about that also. When he was the chairman of the youth of the then SDP, and he worked closely with Chief MKO Abiola. He was someone that is always referring, and the family of Abiola to date, they always rally around him. And one thing about Senator Bayo Osinowo, his friends from primary school, secondary school, those people that he has met after secondary school or while he was studying abroad and also, they still hang around him. You always find them around him. That shows the kind of person that he was. And you look at the way he's even carrying the family of Abiola, you will see the wives, the wives of Abiola and the children always with Senator Bayo Osinowo. That shows you the kind of person that he was. And talking about his relationship with Senator Ashafa also, when he was chairman Committee on Land in Lagos State House of Assembly, Senator Ashafa was also a permanent secretary at the Ministry of Land. So they worked closely together.
Before coming into the legislature?
Before coming to legislature.
Yes.
So before Senator Ashafa could become a senator, he was also a permanent secretary in Lagos State. And the ministry was the ministry that is under Senator Bayo Osinowo.
Yes.
So you can understand the kind of relationship that Senator Bayo Osinowo has with Senator Ashafa and so many people like that, that no matter who you are, like I said earlier, once you meet Senator Bayo Osinowo and you are at home with him, he can go to any length. He doesn't distract his people, no matter who you are. He's very, very accessible. He's like I said, he speaks the language of the people. He is very, very generous. His philanthropic gesture knows no band.
And probably it's also a testimony to what you're saying that, you know, he served 4 consecutive terms. That's 16 years,
yes.
right? So
Yes,
that means he was speaking the language of the people, also speaking the language of the party, and you also have to note his political savvy to have been relatively easily not stepped on any banana peels in all those years. So
that shows you the wisdom that God had bestowed on this man. He was blessed. He was a blessed man of all ratification. He carries everybody along. The party, he will always fight for his party. He will always mobilize for the party. He moves from Lagos to any part of the country to go and do campaign. In Osun, he was there. In Ogun State, he was there. In every part of the, and he will do that with his resources. That shows you the kind of person that Senator Bayo Osinowo was.
So okay.
He was also a family man. He loved his children. He loved his wife dearly. And
you can see people mourning there. Those are clearly members of his family. And if you're watching on television, you know.
Yeah, he loved his family dearly. He connects with his children. and his grandchildren so easily. Whenever we are together, I was with him some few weeks back, and before he fell sick, and I see the way he carries his people, the knowledge of the knowledge he has impacted in his children, the knowledge he has impacted in his family, and same applies to everybody around him. That's who Senator Bayo Osinowo was.
Indeed. Honorable Tunde Braimo is still with us on Skype. And even though I'll be taking a break shortly, but you started, Honorable Braimo, you were going to go, and I'd be a bit more interested in his pro-democracy struggles going back to Hope 93 and, when he was working as the... Would you also like to elongate that? I'll have to go on a break, but it doesn't matter. I'll come straight back to you. Okay, welcome back, and back to you, Honorable Tunde Braimo. I was just reading something that Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu, APC leader, put out, and speaking of the late senator, he said he was more than a close friend and political associate. Over the years, he had become like a family member and brother in so many ways. Bayo and I have come a long way, writes Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu, dating back to our days in the pro-democracy struggles. We both enlisted in the Social Democratic Party, where he served so well as the youth chairman of that party during the Third Republic, and later in the Alliance for Democracy in '98, after the restoration of democracy. Bayo's contributions to the return of democracy were significant and enduring. That is Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu, part of the tribute that he had written to him. Could you speak a bit about those days? Do you have knowledge of those days? Because I know you just said he was your mentor, he was your leader, he was your senior. No doubt you admired him. If Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu is speaking about his contributions to the return of democracy being enduring, and the presidency has also related to his hard work as well.
Thank you very much. I've been around for a while in politics too, so I have the competence to say to talk about the SDP days. I was an active member of the SDP. That culminated in my election as a council chairman later in 1999. Senator Bayo Osinowo and I had been together for a while, and I'm aware, very, very well aware of his indelible contributions since the pre-June 12 and post-June 12 days. And I'm so happy and so grateful to our national leader, our leader who will not let any good thing go unmentioned. He doesn't pay evil with evil, but he repay that is good with what is good. Our national leader, Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu, will always commend you when you are right. He may forgive you when you are wrong. He may not condemn you, but he will always commend you when you are right. And that's why what he has done in this case of Senator Bayo Osinowo, remembering that he was one of the very tenacious, very resilient, and very loyal and reliable disciples that he had in the June 12 days. Senator Bayo Osinowo was a major contributor. He was particularly close to the late winner of the June 12 1993 elections, Bashorun MK Abiola. He was as close to him as he was close to Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu later. Very close to Asiwaju that he could enter to Bashorun, that he could enter Bashorun's bedroom at will. And we used to marvel at the love and acceptability that Bashorun Abiola had for him at that time. But he never abused that opportunity. He never abused that closeness. He never used that opportunity to subjugate anything unduly for himself. He was also always about the people and about propagating the cause of the late winner of the June 12 election. After the election was annulled and some people chose to go into exile because of threat to their lives and all of that, unfortunately, he was caught unawares and he was detained for 4 whole years in a dungeon in somewhere in Kuje in Abuja, in a dungeon, right in the pit, not where I could see sunlight for 4 good years. It was better to be dead. It was safer dead, like James Lee Chase said this in one of his novels. Safer dead. Better or safer to be dead than to be alive in a dungeon, in a pit of a hole for 4 years. And he came out. When he came out, when we saw him, we were weeping. And yet he was giving us courage. Don't weep for me. Thank God for me. And he came back. When he came back, he didn't even choose to run for political office. It was Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu himself that made him to run in 2003. Senator Bayo did not want to run at all. He said, look, I'm back. I'm happy with my life. I'm here to serve Nigeria, serve Lagos State, serve Asiwaju. But Asiwaju said, look, you will serve, but you'll be one of us directly in the service. And that was why, how he came to run for election to 2003. And like I've said, something must have been in him. I'm from the same constituency with him. I want to talk of the federal constituency, Koshofe. And something must have been, we must have seen something in him that we continued to endorse him. Not that people were not struggling for the position with him, contrary to what people would have thought, that maybe we will reserve the position for him. It was not reserved for him at all. It was not served. Asiwaju will tell you, no power is served a la carte. You have to struggle and strive for power. So Asiwaju did not encourage any of us to sit down and cross our legs and wait for power to come. You have to reach out and leap out to get power. And that was what exactly Senator Bayo Osinowo did. Each time he contested fiercely, he contested vigorously, and he contested with all the determination and passion that such a venture should take. So he struggled for everything that he has. And when he gets to the position, he would make sure that he made the sense of whatever position that God has given him.
Indeed. One moment, please. So, Eleni, are you still there on the phone?
I'm still here. I'm still here.
Okay. The whole this whole matter of consistency is coming up, or loyalty, and I, quite frankly, sometimes if you're not a politician, you don't really understand what loyalty in political terms means. Well, one can understand staying put in one place. That quality of loyalty that I think your colleague there was alluding to, and Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu had also alluded to it. And generally, when you look at the way his service had gone, you could see that, you know, he sort of understood what that was all about. Is it about, when people talk about loyalty within the party, is it about consistency to what?
Yeah, his loyalty to his party is basically about his loyalty is translating the manifesto of the party to actualizing it in the lives of the people within his constituency and within the party as a structure. And it's not just...
And towing the party line.
Yes, I'm talking about the party.
Yes.
Now, when we talk about Senator Bayo Osinowo, you can't just restrict him to just Koshofe as a person. It's across the state. In Lagos State, I know his contributions, how he has been able to help people to be in several offices that they do occupy today.
Okay.
And his role, his passion to ensure that everybody is delivering in his promise or the promise of the party. And he was just such an individual that believed in the party structure, he believed in the party manifestation and the party hierarchy, and the party position is always Senator Bayo Osinowo's position. So
okay, because I think that's important. Because I think that's important. You know, forgive me for suggesting it, but because look, politicians are people first, and as people we tend to disagree. But from what I'm hearing, even when you might not be in total agreement with a certain thing, I think that is where this whole concept of loyalty comes into play.
Let me take an example to you.
Sure.
Now, we all say he was in the house for 16 years. This is somebody that we have seen his pedigree from when he was with Abiola up to date. And we record that several times we will be asked to return back to the house by the leadership of the house, of the party. Because most of the time we wanted to go to the national level for rep or for senate or for any other position, but the leadership of the party will prevail on it that we still need you to be at the house for us to continue to play the role of unifying everybody in the house, of ensuring that there is stability in that house, and for you to ensure that the position of the party is well maintained, considering his closeness to our national leader, Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu, and he has done that very well. And that is why you will not hear anything of, you see, when we have politicians, 40 members or 40 members of an assembly who are politicians, you can understand the kind of intrigue that normally goes on within that circle. For someone to be there to ensure that there was nothing that the public will see as demeaning to the house
and the party.
I mean,
and the party.
And the party. You understand that he has also sacrificed so many things to ensure that the party continue to win in Lagos, to ensure that the people are well taken care of, and to ensure that those who are elected are going back to their constituency to give back to the constituency. And he has demonstrated that in so many ways. You go to his house, it's a mecca of his thoughts. Every day, whenever Bayo Osinowo, you can ask those who are living in the vicinity of his house, they don't go to there. You will understand the kind of person that he was, and he still stay with his people. The place, somebody called me this morning, and I was saying that they asking me for his address, and I said, so he's still staying in that Ogudu. That shows the kind of person that Senator Bayo Osinowo was.
Well, I want to thank you very much, Honorable Segun Olulade, former member of the House of Assembly in Lagos State, for coming on and paying this tribute to your friend and your colleague, in Lagos State politics. Thank you very much.
My leader.
Thank you, and your leader as well. Okay, your leader. Thank you very much, Honorable Olulade. Thank you. Yeah. So. But we still have with us Honorable Tunde Braimo, and we shall be opening the phones as well in case there are members of the public that wanted to call in. Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu, in his tribute, had said that people loved him. So many tears have been shed. However, we must summon the strength to carry on as he would want us to. He spoke about. He also said. As great a politician as he was, Bayo was an even better person. He was a man of a kind heart and a ready smile. And then again, this whole question that keeps on recurring, this point that keeps on recurring, his loyalty and enthusiasm were legendary, just as his generosity was. I'm quoting from Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu's statement. On demand, Honorable Braimo. Okay, we've also opened the phones in case anybody wanted to call in from outside. These are very, very large shoes, Honorable Braimo. Very, very big shoes. Fitting them, it's as Asiwaju said, it's a painful thing, but when the time comes, it'll have to be done. He has left a legacy, I guess, is the way to look at it. A legacy to be lived up to. But it's, as everybody is saying, so very painful. Not very many people know that he was ill.
Yes. Yes.
It wasn't generally known. Not until that is part of the shock. The news that he had passed on, and later on sort of working out that it's possibly, related to COVID-19. That was more of a shock to most people.
Well, to even learn or to believe that Bayo...
Please carry on.
Hello?
Hello? Is that a call? I believe there's a call on the phone. Good.
Hello.
Hello, good morning. Go ahead, please.
Yeah, good morning. Good morning, Yori.
Hello, good morning. Who is speaking?
My name is Benro Akinyosoye from Surulere.
Okay, go ahead, Benro.
We lost a leader. a leader of all leaders, a man who is passionate about development of the party and its members. I could recollect when we lost one of the greatest party members of our time, Latif Raji. We met Bayo Osinowo, myself and Kayode Tinubu. We met Bayo Osinowo at the house, and he immediately took us to the speaker and approved 2 million naira for his burial. That's the kind of person Bayo Osinowo is. We lost him. It's very painful. I pray God will grant him eternal rest.
Indeed. Amen. Thank you. Thank you very much for calling in, Benro. Honorable Adewale has also joined us on Skype. Good morning, Honorable.
Good morning, sir.
Oh, okay.
Nice meeting you.
Good morning, sir. Sad news all around, right?
Yeah, very sad news. Very, very sad news.
Well, his colleagues have been talking about the unique qualities of the man. You know, we've heard from the presidency in this connection. We've heard from the leadership of the National Assembly. We've heard from leadership of the party. You know, would you like to contribute? Because unionism or activism, student, youth leadership, I imagine that you guys, between you and him, there would have been occasions to work together in the past, going back to the struggle for democracy, going back to Abiola days. Is that correct?
Well, we didn't actually work very neatly together because he was far, far, far senior to me. Both in age and in the struggle. We were boys, if I may use the word, we're foot soldiers to them. But I can vividly give you an account of one of his activity during the June 12 struggle. If any of Kudirat Abiola's children are alive today, it is by the grace of God and of course with the effort of Mr. Bayo Osinowo. When the military junta were to kill the children of Alaja Kudirat Abiola, as it is recorded, Mr. Bayo Osinowo disguised himself as a taxi driver. He had to jump the fence into the Abiola's compound. He evacuated all the children of Abiola, especially Abdul Mumuni and his siblings, and he had to take them all through the night through the Nadeko route in order to ferry them across the country to Ghana, from where they, I think, went to Europe or America, and they started a new life. He came back again to meet with, he was to come back again to meet with Alaja Kudirat Abiola to evacuate her in the same manner, but before he could get to her, she had already been killed. That is the effort of Mr. Bayo Osinowo. A lot of people did not know that he played a very active role in making sure that some members of the Abiola family are kept alive today. And from my own account...
One moment, sir. Can I just interrupt you for a while? Because I have a call from Jaji Moses. Mr. Moses in Jaji, Kaduna State. Good morning.
Good morning this morning, please.
Yeah, please go ahead. I like that. Go ahead, please.
Okay. I've been listening to the program so keenly, and I appreciate the fact that Nigerians will appreciate good. Honorable Bayo Osinowo is not a man that I have met, but I have seen that people are writing so many stories, histories of his good deeds. And this is so great of a country. But there's a lesson that I want us to learn from him. That I'm calling him. The lesson is this. God has destined him to come end. There should be a lesson for us who are behind us, and every other politicians, every stakeholders in the development and building of Nigerian as a nation. To learn one thing, simplicity of the mind and a sacrificial hand that take every other person along to ensure that Nigeria, Lagos, Nigeria will become a better place. I do not know the man. What people have spoken about all through the night have been following all of the development that has been happening. I think we should learn from this. What is it? The temporal nature of life and the need for us to engage in human development, sacrifices for who elected you. What was to build Nigeria. God bless Lagos State.
Thank you very much for calling in. Yeah, going back to you, Honorable Adewale, you know, the man maintained a low profile, but apparently his service, his industry was towering, as everybody is testifying to the fact.
Mr. Bayo Osinowo loved to walk behind the curtains. He's not someone that liked to grandiose himself and all of that, and that was his nature. I remember when I had some issues when I was just elected as chairman of local government. My issue was to be like that of Mr. Balarabe Musa when he was the then governor of Old Kano State. You know that he wasn't really popular among the political class, being an activist, and they had to impeach him. So I was to go through the same fate. But Mr. Bayo Osinowo, I learned later, after about 6 years, told me that, Ayo, do you know that when you had that particular challenge, I had to rally around the members of the House of Assembly and told them to give you a fair hearing. And that was what saved your neck. I said, wow, sir, you never told me, I never knew. And he said, it is because you are a good guy, and I had to stick my neck out for you in order for you to have a fair hearing. And that was what saved you as at that time. So the only thing I can pray for is that God should forgive his sins, grant him al-Jannah, as the Muslim would say, and let his work continue to speak for him. And members of the family, I do condole with them in this sad moment, and especially the APC family, especially the civil society, and Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu and Ogbeni Rauf Aregbesola, because he was very, very loyal to his leaders, and he was also loyal to his followers.
Okay.
And may God provide his work.
Okay. Honorable Brimo, you're still there with us. Again, a bit more of the man is coming out more and more. For those who didn't know him, and the point has now been made that, look, this is a gentleman who actually, he wasn't that widely known. Of course, within his own circles. I mean, suddenly those who knew and knew where he mattered and how he mattered have been speaking about it. But flamboyance doesn't seem to be part of the man. It's only now coming out how crucially important he was, and catalytic to all of the things that were going on in Lagos politically, that the country has been serenading as Lagos being, a politically tight territory.
Yes, like Ayo said, he was not an aggrandizing person. He was not somebody who was considered or a show-off personality. He was someone, like I told you earlier, who was a go-getter and a result-oriented politician.
And was working quietly behind the scenes, apparently.
Quiet
Although
behind the scenes, and Asiwaju being our master driver, understands all that, and that's very important. When your boss, your master, your leader, the person that you work directly with, understands the critical role that you are playing, it's a commendation, and that underscores the importance of the roles that the man played.
One moment, please. Let me bring in Mr. Joshua in Irewolide. Good morning, Mr. Joshua.
Good morning.
Good morning, sir.
Good morning to the people there.
Yeah.
I send my condolences to his family and to the entire Lagos state people. I think his life has shown the importance of being loyal and selfless in service. All that one has heard about him are quite encouraging. I would just encourage everybody, as everyone is mourning him, Uncle Yori, probably they could remember too that this is COVID-19 period. We have to balance things up at this moment. I'm sure the reason behind his death may not be known, but at times like this, the family could equally use it to send a message to people who think COVID-19 is not real, that any death at this time should be taken very cautiously, and everybody should be aware that it could be caused by anything, especially if it is COVID-19. People should be careful so that we don't spread it any further.
Indeed.
Thank you very much. I condole them.
Indeed.
And I pray their heart is comforted.
thank you very much for calling in then. Also, really, it's about time to thank our guests for coming, in these hard times, of bereavement, to actually be able to, come out and speak with us about all of this. So I wanted to thank Honorable Tunde Braimo, representing Koshofe Constituency 2 at the Lagos State House of Assembly, and also to thank Honorable Segun Olulade, former member of the House, who had come on, and certainly not the last and the least, but to also thank Honorable Adewale to sort of give us an insight into, this gentle, quiet giant of a man. People knew the nickname Pepperito, Pepe, but that's what it is. So condolences, as has been said, to the family and indeed to Lagos State. So that's our program. Please join us tomorrow for a fresh edition. I am Yori Folarin. Bye-bye for now.